So Luis is going to help me out. We're going to go into the functional front line to start. So in the Isokinetic, you'll see this setting right here where it says apply. What I would do is I would take the athlete and put him into what we would call a transformational zone, or a shape, right? Recently, our athletes like to call them pockets. It's a pocket of movement, like a snapshot in time. So out of this motion, I would try to take the handle from the end range to the completion through 4 seconds. So it would be 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4, okay? That just set the speed limit for me, okay? And I could hit apply. Luis hasn't trained on it, so I'm going to give him a little more forgiveness to that. Yeah. Let's hit that action, okay?
Same one.
Yep. And how I would coach it is, so we're going to get into a split stance. The stance dictates the fascial line that we're going after. This is the biofeedback that we're talking about. So we're at 110, just a little bit more, just a little bit. Nice job, 153, a little bit more. 184, good job. Good, big shoulder turn. So the shoulder turn back, we have very minimal eccentric strength on it. It's almost all concentric. Feet are gonna grip the ground. We're gonna put tension through the core. One more time for me, bud. Good job. Let's hit it on the other side. This is on average, if I'm not mistaken, Adam. It might be. So I'm going to do this. You'll see. Yeah, I'm going to hit peak. Okay. So, right. So out of all his reps, it just measured what the average of all those reps are. On this other side, I like to train out of the peak side. So the athlete can always be looking back to see what his last rep was. Once again, though, you're in this tension a little bit of how much you're willing to tolerate where the form really breaks down. But let's flip. Nope, you're going to stay. You got to do the other arm. So you got two arms, and so we want to take care of that other arm for you too. So let's move out a little bit more. Yep, in a great split stance, big flexion into that knee. So he has the front hip loaded. The shoulder turn already has the diagonal load to that hip. Nice and easy, dude. Just start. Yep. And now you'll see how this biofeedback changes. 228, just a little bit more. 272. 295. 280. 286. Go get one more. 285. How much do you feel to the core?
Yeah, a ton.
Yeah, right. Because of and that's the piece is how can you get motion? This concept of stability and mobility combined together, right? Like, and we've had a tendency, well, I've had a tendency to isolate those things. You do stability training, you'll do mobility training. Really, in function, they work with each other. And so the isokinetic piece really allows you to accomplish this. So Luis just worked that functional front line. We're now going to do the functional back line. So he's going to do a contralateral row, get into a great split stance. So because of the stance that I chose, we're now influencing the posterior chain. So the turn of the shoulder, the transverse turn of the shoulder has just taken this hip and put it into internal rotation with flexion. The more trunk flexion I can put into it, the more I can influence how much force we can put into that back hip. Out of this, that front foot's going to dig into the ground. At times, we talk about the gas pedal. So guys will have a tendency to just slam the gas pedal down. We want to steadily ramp the gas pedal and then pin the gas pedal by the time that you finished. You try that. Start the gas pedal, then get it going, then get it going, get it going, get it going. Good. Foot's going to dig, get it going. Come on, wind it up. Good, 2 more here. Come on, big dig, big dig. 281, come on, beat 281. 336, great job, nice work. So there's the functional front line and the functional back line. I can influence that if I had a player with patellofemoral issues. What I love about the Isokinetic is this. The tensile forces that you can create through the knee in an isometric position is massive in this. So you could get them into a particular position, guys that have the patellofemoral issues, and the amount of force that they have to create with that front foot creates that tensile strength around this tensegrity unit of the knee. If I wanted more knee flexion, I could lower the modality to the ground. So the modality, as my trunk drives down, I'm going to drive into more knee flexion, more hip flexion. If we had guys with pain, we would take this and move it up. It would take the knee flexion and the hip flexion out of it and still allow us to get into those ranges of motion. Make sense? The great part about this is you just saw the isokinetic setting. You'll see where I'm hitting the buttons right here. I can change how this reacts, and so I can do it on an eccentric overload. Matt, I think I saw you do a, Matt Price I'm talking to right now, even though I'm not looking at him. I think I saw you do a bit on the rowing actions for the isokinetic stuff, and I love the phrase, and I might fuck it up, so if I fuck it up, you could come back and make sure that you'd say it right. But you talked about free money, right? It's free money. The eccentric overload component on these rows, I thought it was brilliant, because it is, like, why would you not? And when I heard it, like, we haven't stopped. Every time we get into this, we're doing some kind of eccentric overload. And the benefit that we've gotten from, I think, is exponential. So nice job on your part. I want you to hit the row again. Now, Luis isn't accustomed to this machine, so you're going to kind of see what the machine's about to do. I treated him to a little bit of it before, but he's only going 15 kilos concentric. He's got 30 going back. On the way going back, I want you to try to get it there on a 4 count. And so you're going to have to really brace yourself to get that sucker back there, but don't let it take you for the ride. You got to take it for the ride. You got it? Yeah, 4 seconds. Get into a great stance. Big knee flexion. Oh, you already got it. You lost that one.
You want me to pull it out?
Yeah, no, you're going to row it all the way out. And when it finishes, it's taking you for a ride. You got to be ready for it. Oh. So decelerated forces, right? Like you are putting a shit ton of decelerated forces into the lower body, right, in a tensile wise, and US strength training because of the forces from the top down. Try it. Let me see the other arm. What I love about this is that you got right and left foot forward. Guys that have patellofemoral stuff or have some kind of hip issues, this thing's it's gonna be glaring. And now it allows you to back up and get your PT or someone, hey, this is what we're seeing. That's what I love about the biofeedback. Go ahead, hit it. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3. Oh. Is one harder?
I think I've got it on one dial now.
You got it in? And that's the cool part to it too, is teaching the athletes how to navigate it. Great job, man. Nice work. Relax. We're gonna show you, so just imagine this though. I'm gonna jump off script, because really this is 3D spine and core work. But if you wanted to, guys coming off rehab, right, and you want to just train the eccentric component, it's 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5. I got nothing coming out. It's nothing. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5. And I'm back out easy. Or if you want to train the concentric piece to it, you flip it to the isokinetic. Here's the best piece. I could do heavy eccentric overload in, and I can do isokinetic out. Now that's a motherfucker. You only need 3 to 4 reps of that once guys really master that. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flip this up, and we're gonna go through some of those other fascial lines. The front line, the lateral line, and we're gonna do some transverse plane work. You'll see on the screen how I just changed the adaptation. So as his arms reach in space, the rib cage lifts. Eccentric load through the front part of the core in the transverse plane. Thoracic spine's extending. Left hip is extended, okay? Go ahead, finish the movement. Heavy eccentric load through the core. This is how the core actually functions in the vertical upright position. So if a lot of your protocols are when you're laying on the ground, this is not extending. You're not getting full eccentric load through the core. If you're laying on the ground, you're going to be very limited how much motion you can get out of the pelvis. So we would say, I'm not saying there's not a place for it, But I'm just saying, we always use the term functional density. Like on a functional density scale, if you were going off the truths of human movement, just checking those boxes off, I think you have a chance to make more functional dense exercise selections. Let's go transverse plane over that shoulder. No, you're going to stay in the same stance. So instead of straight sagittal plane load, he's going to tuck his shoulders in. Nice job, man. Yep. Good, one more. Good, flip the stance and show everybody the same exact two, please.
Same to the right?
No, go straight sagittal plane first. What I love about it is you're going to be able to instantly see guys that have restrictions in the right front hip, and you're going to, from the side, you'll see this. They'll just slide right through their lumbar spine. Like, it's not what you want. This is a more advanced exercise in the vertical core, but you want to be able to see huge tissue extensibility through the front hip, and then through the core up into the torso. Hit the transverse plane. This would be more the spiral line. So the spiral line and the front line, the spiral line actually starts on this hip, wraps around the rib cage, comes back through this shoulder blade and attaches on that neck. So it says a spiral around the body. Nice job, buddy. Relax. We got two more. We're going to move into the lateral line. Okay, so by the position that I orientate him to, he's going to stay parallel to the machine. So perpendicular to the machine. Okay, so machine's there, I am perpendicular, I'm making a T. So in all of our nomenclature, it'll start with the machine that they're going to, the stance that it's going to come out of, the driver heights will dictate where the modality is moving in space. 6 to 6 is overhead, 1 is at the ground. We could go 1 to 6, 3 to 6. So the athlete, these guys, you guys do it with letters, right? We use G for ground, knee, K for knee, same kind of deal. But there's a set nomenclature. The athlete grabs it, they know the machine they're going to, they know the stance that they're in, and they instantly know the driver height, so they know what they have to execute. In this position, I'm going to go lateral flexion, but as I go lateral flexion, I'm going to shift into my left leg, and then I'm going to shift into my right leg. So I got a lot of lateral load through the quadratus lumborum. The hips are helping support my lumbar spine, and we're just driving that thoracic spine in lateral flexion. So he's time under tension, that speed limit's on there now. We got it on 0.7, much different, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. For upright vertical core work, the isokinetic stuff it's a beast. And the guys love it. They really start getting into it. I like putting the pulleys across from each other because they all start looking at their biofeedback and stuff. And some of them know how to trick the machine a little bit now though too. They know how to, they yank on it real early and it like jumps the scale up, so they're starting to beat it a little bit. The last one that we're gonna do you want to do the other side?
Sure.
Okay, do the other side. Just do 3 reps. Yeah. Just do 3 reps. Great base stance. This hip has to be able to load though. If you're seeing a lot of instability in here, they're not ready for these kind of exercises. The hip has to be able to take the hip shift and be able to stabilize the lateral flexion to the spine. The spine has 24 vertebrae for a reason. It's meant to kind of couple and move. But a lot of traditional training, you don't do it. I get it. There's certain sports that you guys got to move motherfuckers. Like, you got to be crazy strong. But if you can't be crazy strong and mobility together, you're going to probably have some issues. They're going to probably be dinged. I like these things as auxiliary pieces to be able to balance out with the strength stuff. The last one we're going to do is, the first one we did the sagittal plane, second one we did the frontal plane. The last one we're going to do the transverse plane. So Luis is going to get into a perpendicular stance to the machine, but because of how my shoulders are moving, I'm going to change the plane of motion. The last one we did lateral flexion, which was driving the frontal plane. In this one, Luis is going to turn his shoulders. The shoulder turn drives internal rotation into this leg. He has to sit into this leg. Out of this motion, Luis, here's how I'm going to coach you. That foot is going to dig into the ground, and I'm going to pull this to my center line. When I get it to my center line, Luis, look over my shoulder. See my hand turn over? So it's a pull to this position. Now that leg is a drive to finish it out. So that hand's going to drive it. This hand's pulling it to the center, turn it, and drive it. Okay, so remember the gas pedal, right? Remember the gas pedal. Easy, get it going, and then each rep, we'll try to stop peaking that thing up there, okay? But let's groove the movement first. Okay, a little bit more on the next one. Foot digs into the ground. Good big shoulder turn back here. Pull it to the center. Turn your hands over and drive it with that outside leg. Come on, big turn. Attaboy, good, great job. Center line. Good, use that foot, dig it in, pull it to your center line, turn that hand over, drive it. One more time. Great job, buddy. Nice job. Face the other way for me. I'm going to show you how we'll change the perturbation on this side. So we're going to go to reps. And I'm going to go eccentric overload on this one. And I'm going to give you a little bit more. Move away a little bit, move away a little bit. You got to be in a great stance, dude. You got to be in a great stance. You feel that? Yeah, go ahead. Take it for a ride. It's going 40 back, dude. Right?
So much.
So, Coach, you got all those hosses, man. Like, with that new software download that they got, like, I can't. Our guys can't do that, but I bet you guys got some guys that almost ripped this thing off the. Yeah, that would be a lot of fun to watch. I would love to come down and just watch you guys do some of that, you know. So the concept is the vertical core. These are things that we would sprinkle into in between the strength training, right, to complement the lower body development, the upper body development, and you see how we three-dimensionalize the spine. Okay, the perturbations you could change on any, on any particular athlete. That's what I love about it. We've only had it a year, and I feel like I only know the machine about 30%. That's pretty exciting to me. The squat, I've been messing around with this thing, doing squatting stuff all over the place, so I'm really excited to get on that. But I will tell you this. I think this thing has a chance to exponentially help you get your athletes stronger because of how you could change the perturbations to it, how you could do the eccentric overload, how you could do the isokinetic. There's just nothing like it. And they're great business people. There's every time that I've had any kind of an issue, it's been addressed quickly. I'm excited to see where this thing goes, and I'm excited that we've been an early adopter to it. Because I do think that they're always improving and always getting better. I think this technology will totally change how performance is looked at and how it's measured. That's the thing. And as coaches every day, it's hard to measure everything. But what this does, it gives us great conversation points as a staff. Someone sees something, you instantly come in, hey, I noticed that the left side, he couldn't even come close to the right side. Next time we're all sitting in a staff meeting, that comes up. It allows us, it's really allowed us to engage in great conversations because of how you can quantify what you're doing. So with that being said, if you could give a hand to my man Luis. Nice job, bud. Are there any questions that I can answer for anybody?